immediately obvious. They become evident only after the fact, by way of fact-checking analysis. The war on the recent past, however, asks people to ignore what they already saw, learned, and experienced, replacing their own memories with malign myths. The motivations behind such campaigns are hardly subtle. The more recent events can be altered to fit a political agenda, the easier it becomes to present failures as triumphs and fiction as fact. What's more, scandals and investigations can be made to disappear just as soon as a party agrees to tell its supporters that it's been exonerated, even when the opposite is true. This campaign of rewriting recent history is built on a foundation of pernicious pillars. The first is a wholesale indifference toward reality. If a skirmish in this conflict is going to succeed, its warriors must make a deliberate choice not to care about what the public already knows to be true or what independent fact-checkers are going to say when the dust clears. The second pillar is the absence of shame. Campaigns to rewrite recent history fail if those doing the rewriting express a degree of embarrassment, betraying their mendacious goals. The public will pick up on sheepishness. So Republicans who intend to replace a factual series of events with fictional ones must fully commit to the new narrative, no matter how ridiculous it is. The third pillar is the role of allies. No one person, no matter how powerful or politically influential, can rewrite history on his or her own. The GOP's war on the recent past relies on a comprehensive approach, incorporating conservative media allies and like-minded partisans willing to echo the preferred made-up story. Indeed, it is this point that helps separate contemporary propaganda efforts from their predecessors. Republican officials can rely on Fox News and related outlets to help disseminate their rewritten stories quickly and efficiently, exploiting the partisan benefits of information bubbles in ways that previous parties would have envied. Finally, the last pillar is the importance of repetition. Recent history isn't rewritten overnight. It takes a sustained effort, reinforced over time. In his 1938 book, Propaganda Boom, British author A.J. Mackenzie emphasized the importance of repetition in a successful propaganda campaign. And nearly a century later, that hasn't changed. Taken together, a picture emerges of a Republican Party that's grown reliant on a brute force rhetorical strategy, taking developments that unfolded in recent memory and replacing them with a politically advantageous alternate reality. To be sure, Crisis Management 101 is filled with familiar lessons for parties and politicians caught up in dilemmas of varying degrees of seriousness. The rhetorical ploys are tried and true. Countless actors have done their best to put a positive spin on difficult circumstances. Others have peddled dubious denials. Some have come clean while begging the electorate for forgiveness, while others still have tried to change the subject, hoping to get away with transgressions by giving the public something else to talk about. Contemporary Republicans, however, have launched a war on the recent past for a couple of inescapable reasons. Part of the GOP's dependence is born of uniquely indefensible circumstances. Too many contemporary scandals have simply proved unspinnable. It's one thing to try to change the subject in response to a routine controversy. It's something else when a White House fails spectacularly to respond to a pandemic, and more than 1 million Americans die from a dangerous contagion. In such instances, the crisis management playbook sits on a shelf. It's not enough to simply try to negate such controversies through traditional public relations tactics. It becomes necessary to overhaul the canonical understanding of what actually transpired. GOP voices also have grown dependent on this approach because they've found that rewriting recent history can be incredibly effective. Rank-and-file Republican voters have been conditioned to distrust independent sources of information. And with the help of